Loktak Lake, or the superlative of Manipur. Whenever insurgency-fatigued Manipur wants to project a smiling face to the world, it has to be the Loktak. Situated at a height of 2200 feet above the sea level, it is a unique but fragile ecological asset. Two-thirds of the lake is covered with floating organic mass called phoomdis that sustains this lake's unique ecology. It has the world's only floating wildlife park and is the only residence of the highly endangered brow-antlered deer, or the dancing deer. Arguably, it has one of the densest biodiversity in the country. Since the Ithai barrage was constructed, the lake water has become stagnant. Because of this, the phoomdis remain detached from the lake bed, thus thinning and without much nutrition values. So the Sangai deer's habitat have been affected. Thinning of phoomdis also means less food for the deer. Since then, their number has started reducing. The number of migratory birds has also reduced in the park. It is no wonder that Loktak lures lives. Since my childhood, I have been living in the lake. I had farms in the lake periphery, but the Ithai barrage submerged them. So I shifted to fishing in the lake. Again, the barrage has resulted in tremendous increase in phoomdis. This hinders boat movement. Our fish catch is coming down. Now at an average, we get fish worth rupees 100 or 150. Earlier we used to have much more fish catch. Loktak is a lifeline for close to 20% of the state's population, depending on the lake's rich fish resource and using lake water for irrigation. The state's 60% fish demand is met from this lake. The lake is the reason for survival for 55 rural and urban settlements around the lake. In around 700 phoomdis, almost 4,000 people have been eking out livelihood right inside the lake. It is estimated that the lake's annual economy is to the tune of 500 crore rupees.
fishing in the lake is no more a good survival proposition.
Oina uwa yadadana aikhoji Loktak Pass da chengkhalakpani.
Fishing has come down and no more sustains us. We do other work to supplement our income. Though there are schools, we have not been able to send our children for education due to financial constraints. We hope that if the Loktak is cleaned, our economic condition will improve.
But of late, the state's smiling face is showing signs of strain. As the state is immersed in her decades-old fight against insurgency, the lake is losing a battle against ecological degradation.
These large heaps of these phoomdis are taken out from the Loktak lake to clean this Loktak lake. So almost the Loktak lake area, about 60% of the Loktak area is covered by this phoomdis. So LDA is taking up in the ward footing that to clean those phoomdis as soon as possible.
Ecological degradation has distorted the lake's fragile ecology, precipitating an enormous human tragedy. It may well be the beginning of an ecological insurgency. The lake has started losing its unique ecology, and people are no more finding it a suitable economic asset. I used to stay at Phumlen. Ithai barrage submerged my village. I had to shift to nearby Churachandpur district for education of my children. But there, survival was difficult. I came back to Loktak for my livelihood. Few years back, the site of Loktak was very beautiful. It is a totally different story now. Government must be spending lots of money to clean the lake. I don't think they will be able to do it. Machines cannot do that. The lake's natural ways must be reverted back to clean the phoomdis. It all started in 1983 with the Loktak multi-purpose project to harness the lake water for electricity generation. The Ithai barrage came up, blocking the lake's natural water flow. With that, it tampered with the lake's precarious ecological balance. And the ecological imbalance has caused deep distress, both economic and ecological. Ironically, the phoomdis for which the lake is famous for are now becoming a threat to its existence. With the barrage, the area of the lake increased by 80 square kilometers. But due to change in water flow, there is an unprecedented increase in number of phoomdis. The area under phoomdis has increased from 117 to 135 square kilometers, mostly in open water areas. The increasing phoomdis are choking the lake into death.
Without realizing the dynamics of the system or understanding the nature of the wetland ecosystem, and that affected the entire hydrological processes, thereby changing the plant communities, and also in terms of the fisheries, that the construction of barrage acted as a kind of obstacle in terms of the fishes moving upstream, downstream, and almost as per our investigations, 30% of fisheries was lost, and that led to the question of changes in water quality because of the basically the flushing of the water.
1/4 of the lake's fauna has vanished. The number of fish species has drastically come down. and world's only habitat for the dancing deer is precariously shrinking.
When this Loktak power project, hydropower project was established, so to maintain a certain water reservoir, Ithai barrage was constructed, and because of which there is a permanent maintenance of water level in the lake, and which has disturbed the natural cycles of drying and flooding of this lake habitat. And Keibul Lamjao, when it was very much an integral part of the lake, so it was experiencing the regular cycles of flooding and drying, which was also important from the point of view of the growth of the phoomdis and growth of the natural vegetation in that area. But by the maintenance of continuous water table, the natural habitat and natural ecosystems and where all these vegetations are growing, that has created some disturbance. And it has been scientifically tested that there is some reduction in the growth of certain species which are important from the point of view of the Sangai food habits.
The Ithai barrage has set in a vicious cycle of ecological degradation. First, it submerged 80,000 hectares of agriculture lands, forcing many people solely to depend on fisheries from the lake. On the other hand, it has put further pressure on the lake's dwindling fishery resources. Ithai barrage made our paddy lands waterlogged. We were compelled to turn them into fish ponds. To sum it up, the lake is being overexploited to such an extent that government now releases millions of fish fingerlings to maintain balance. A natural lake is just turning out to be a massive artificial fish breeding pond.
아니 도비 걸어요.
The declining fish stock and increasing demand has resulted in an intense fight among the local people to control as much fish as possible. Earlier, fishing was always a good option. We used to have plenty of fish, and we could catch fish at will. After the barrage was constructed, it has become a difficult job. Now there are thousands of controlled fishery encroachments inside the lake. These artificial encroachments are indeed changing the basic character of the lake. It seems that the death of the lake is foretold. The barrage has accelerated the ill impacts of local environmental degradation. Hills around the lake are denuded, partly due to shifting cultivation and partly due to forest clearance. The shifting cultivation cycle has come down from 20 years to 5 years now. And agriculture in the hills is rising by around 3% every year. Deforestation has let loose an incessant rush of soil into the lake. It is estimated that 6,72,650 tons of soil flow to the lake. The barrage prevents outflow of these silt, thus reducing the lake depth. The cycle of destruction is closing in. The silting up of the lake has reduced water holding capacity of the lake. It means less electricity production. The project that triggered the cycle of ecological insurgency in the lake is turning out to be a victim of it.
Now, these wetlands have been extremely important to the communities in providing the food for their sustenance in terms of fish, in terms of fodder, in terms of other kind of resources. And these wetlands were also very important, particularly in terms of maintaining the biodiversity. But the real issue of this is in terms of the habitat. The habitat has been lost because of the change in water regimes. If I am asked to sum up what are the real issues of the Loktak Lake, these are essentially linked to the change in hydrological regimes and the catchments in which there is a change in land use pattern into terms of the kind of different crops which have been grown and how they are contributing to the silt and contributing to the siltation of the lake.
Loktak literally means the end of streams. 34 streams and rivers end into the lake. Now these streams are a major cause of the lake's biological death. The streams bring in human waste and sewage from the 55 rural and urban settlements around the lake. More than 70% of the population around the lake doesn't have access to sanitation. So the wastes are being directly discharged into the streams. Increasing agriculture around the lake means toxic traces of fertilizers and pesticides finding ways to the lake. Nambul, the most polluted river in Manipur, ends up in the lake after depositing whatever possible pollutant it brings in its course. The lake is fast becoming a pool of pollutants. As the livelihood crisis simmers around Loktak, fear flies in the lake. Is it going to be another frontier of conflicts in the state? Loktak Development Authority, the nodal agency to manage the lake, is hopeful. But hopes are not always that one survives on.
In this river basin project, we'll be taking up some major activities like process from catchment. We know catchment area treatment, including the hill areas of the all river basin, of the Manipur river basin. We are going to remove phoomdis. Phoomdi is also one of the main problem in the lake areas, particularly in lake areas. The problem of phoomdi has become very serious since commission of this Ithai barrage, I should say this.
Loktak is often termed as a living witness to the Manipuri civilization. The lake is an inevitable image in local legends and myths, and is a dependable source of livelihoods. Its decline may precipitate intense conflicts. The state has seen many deaths and destruction. It cannot afford another bout of it. It is inevitable that Loktak gets her life back, or